Hello. Are we on? Welcome to the Tuesday night conference call. Happy Merry Christmas to everyone. We got a special guest tonight. He's been in practice for 36 years. Been a DE guy for a way long time. And one of the main reasons I came back to DE was a breakfast I had with him and Eddie Cordero. He's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, originally from Long Island, New York. Like I say, been practicing 36 years. I've talked to him every week, and he's had a lot of issues going on in life, like we all do. It ain't all rainbow and unicorns. And Tom's been through a lot of stuff, and I'll let him tell his story. But let's welcome from Fort Lauderdale, Tom D'Amico. Tom D'Amico. While you're waiting, remember January 20th to 23rd is DE. Sarasota, Florida. White sandy beaches. Be there. Technical issues? You're going to get to see Tom D'Amico in just a minute here. Woohoo!
We good, Andy? All right. Well, thank you, Andy, for having me here. I don't know how many of you guys are Seinfeld fans, but there was an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer was a seat filler at the Tony Awards. And that's kind of how I felt tonight. Sometimes when you get asked to do something, whether you want to do it or not, you just say yes. So, and some of you that know me, I'm a very much a preparer, and I didn't really have a chance to prepare. I don't have the gift of being able to just speak from my seat of my pants. But anyway, it's been about 2 years since I've been to my last DE, and like Andy said, I've been going through a season for the last year or two with just many things happening. But I was introduced to DE in 1989 by Penny Schwartz, and have gone pretty regular for a long time. But this last couple of years has been a little tough for me. But I never abandoned the teachings that Dr. Sid gave us, and Sigafus, and Dr. Santo, and Dr. Curso, and RJ Kelly, and a lot of other guys over the years from DE. I've taken a big step back from social media in the last 2 years, just with everything going on. I don't want to fill my consciousness with that kind of stuff. And, life's not always roses. For the longest time, things were always good, working well, but then sometimes life throws you a curveball. So 2021 has not been very kind to me. In the last few months, I've lost 5 of my closest friends, none to COVID. And I lost 3 of my closest friends within a 21-day period. So that's been very tough to deal with. But obviously, God has a bigger plan for them, and not much you can do about that. I had a very close friend who just actually succumbed to her demons and wound up committing suicide, leaving 4 children behind. And I talked her off the ledge many times, but this time she just couldn't do it. For the last 2 years, I've been dealing with my mom, who's had pretty severe dementia. So if anybody out there, I know a few people out there have some parents that have that. It's a very tough thing to deal with. We're never prepared or taught what to do in those situations. And that's one of the main reasons why I haven't been able to come to DE, because I have my mom on the weekend, so I really can't travel. But I am grateful that I still have her. And, I've always obeyed God's laws, which is to honor your parents. But I do want to give a shout out to Andy. Like Andy said, we speak every Tuesday, and he's had to listen to me for the last 2 years, going through my ups and downs. And he's been a godsend for me, guiding me, helping me. And, as a lot of you know, he's also had his ups and downs, and we kind of help each other. And this kind of materialized because prior to RJ's passing, I would speak to him every 2 weeks, and I know Andy would speak to him, and it was a great thing. So we just kind of continued it. So I just want to thank you, Andy, again. You've been a rock for me, and I appreciate you very much. We've all had COVID to deal with and all the BS that goes with that. And I just never wanted to give in to any of that stuff into the office. And I've always kept the DE principle with my patients. I've even told my kids, if God forbid something happens and I get COVID and I die, at my eulogy, I want you to let everybody know that I didn't get vaccinated, and because I've always stood and lived by the principle. And I wasn't going to compromise my principles. I'm sure many of you have had patients say things to you, whether you're vaccinated, whether you're not vaccinated. I was adjusting a patient 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, doc, are you vaccinated?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "You're an idiot." But what are you going to do? That you just gotta to deal with what comes along and just stay the course. I've gone through periods where I've had absolutely no staff in the office. I did a 4-month stretch with no staff. But I just was able to function because of what I've learned at DE, and just kept the principle, and patients were great about it. And I knew that I would get through it. I mean, I had some of my friends that practice down here that are DE docs, they say, "How are you doing it? How are you getting through it?" I'd say, "You know what? I don't know. I just get up in the morning, I do my meditation, I read my Bible, and I go into the office and I serve." And that's what I learned at DE, and that's what I continue to do after 36 years of being in practice. And I do want to say at this point, all of you who have staff, and I do have staff now, which I'm working on, honor your CAs, honor your staff, because when you're doing it by yourself, you see what they do. And they're the first people that the patients have contact with. They're the last people that the patients have contact with. If you teach them the principle and you show them the way that it's supposed to be done, then they're just going to accentuate your practice. They're going to make your practice grow. So it's a great thing. So I remember Peter said one time, "Don't let your life be ruled by fear." And I think right now with today, a lot of people are definitely being ruled by fear. Patients will come to us in the office and ask us questions about vaccines and COVID and all that stuff. And I just refer them to getting adjusted and keeping their nerve system clear and keeping their immune system strong and making sure they're exercising and sleeping well and drinking water. And, just don't be afraid. It's God. If God wants you home, he's going to call you home. So, and we can't judge, we're all about, or at least I am about, autonomy and having a choice. We're not technically anti-vaxxers, although I've chosen not to vaccinate my children. I've never been vaccinated. I don't vaccinate my animals. My mom, who's 87 years old, we've never vaccinated her. And that's created some problems for me with family members, because not everybody in my family thinks or believes the way that I do, or follows the principle. But I've again stayed the course with that, and I've completely just trusted God with that, and I just keep my eyes on God. I don't look left, I don't look right. I just want to keep my eyes on God. So it was funny. I've been going to Christian church now for about 10 years, and I had a patient ask me about 3 months ago when I got saved. I was raised Catholic, and she wanted to know when I got saved. And I said, "Well, I've been going to Christian church for 10 years. She goes, "I didn't ask you that. I asked you when you got saved." And I said, "Well, I really haven't been." And she said, "Well, do you want to be?" And I said, "Absolutely." She said, "How about now?" So she is a pastor at a local church, and she wound up saving me. And about 2 months ago, I got rebaptized. We did a beach baptism down here in Fort Lauderdale, and I completely recommitted myself to God and God's ways. So That's been a big help for me in this very tough season that I've been going through. After 36 years in practice, for me, I feel like I just got out of school. I honestly do. But, I still believe chiropractic is the greatest profession. And I think we're very lucky to do what we do. One of my new staff that works for me, she used to work for a dentist a couple of doors down from me. And she said the vibe in that office was really bad and there was a lot of drama, and she absolutely loves working in the office. She loves the vibe in the office. She loves the patients. There's no drama. And I basically said to her, well, we get to do what we do. They have to. If a patient has a toothache or they're having some dental issues, they have to do that. But our patients don't have to do it. They get to do it. And we get to do what we do every day. I've never called going into the office work. I don't look like it. I don't look at it as work. But I'm just very grateful. God has, in the last 2 years, he's kept me in his favor. During the whole COVID thing, our office got busier. And even when I had no staff, I'm busier with patients when I have no staff than when I do have staff. And Andy and I talk about it, and his answer to me is it's all about intent. My intent's different. I'm more focused because I have to be. I don't have a chance to have those distractions that sometimes we get in the office, going in your office, going on Facebook, this, that, and the other thing. You don't have an opportunity to do those things. So I think that has a lot to do with it. But again, I absolutely love what I do. And I remember Joe Curso, he always taught me to practice with intent, and it's all about intent. Patients sometimes will ask you, well, doc, I went to this other chiropractor and he doesn't do what you do. And I always tell patients it's all about intent. If they're just worrying about treating them for the money, well, you're going to get what you get. But when you come in and your intent is different, your intent is to clear that nervous system. Your intent is to allow that patient's innate intelligence to adapt and to heal, and our job is to clear that out. Well, then they're going to feel that from you, especially when you make your adjustment. Joe always used to say that the first adjustment that you make first thing in the morning should be as good as the last adjustment that you make at the end of the night. And I've always aspired to that. I always remember that he said that. And when you have repeated action and repeated intention, then that becomes a ritual. And I'm very big with rituals. I mean, I'm very regimented. I'm very disciplined. Danny Becker always says, he always calls me rigid. But it's not really that I'm rigid. I'm just very regimented. I get up at 4:30 every day. I'm at the gym at 5. I have my rituals that I perform every single day. And sometimes, things happen. And if I don't start my day by reading scripture or something like that, or I don't get to do my breaths in the morning, sometimes the day is off and you feel it. And the days that you do your rituals and you do your scripture reading and you do your meditation or your 49 breaths or whatever you do in the morning, whatever your ritual is, that's going to make your intention better. That's going to make you better. And that's going to make your patients better. And sometimes just done is better than perfect. I try to, I guess I'm sort of a perfectionist to a certain degree. And I've been called a workaholic, and I don't take vacations and all those kinds of things. Andy yells at me all the time about taking time off. But, I love being in the office, and I can't see myself doing anything else other than being in the office like that. So it's for me, that's what gets me going is just being in the office, adjusting a lot of people, adjusting a lot of kids. We've had a crazy run this last 6 months or so with just kids on the spectrum and autism, and it's just amazing how many kids are out there that are suffering like that, and that's my passion. Kids are my passion, and I just want to help these kids any way that I can. And the parents too. The parents are just. I have one family that has 3 autistic kids, and it's just a nightmare for them. It's just an absolute nightmare what they have to go through in the course of a day. But they come in, they always have a smile on their face. They never complain, and I'm just so grateful and honored that they allow me to take care of these kids. But my heart breaks for what they go through. So, I mean, I have learned a lot over the last 2 years. With my mom and just with the dementia and stuff like that, one of the biggest virtues I've had to learn is patience. When you're dealing with people that have this disease, they're just not them. They're gone. They're just somebody in a shell. But and they have a new movie that runs in their head every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes. My mom, unfortunately, she's like a 10-year-old kid with ADD. But you just have to honor that and just be patient with it and just try to just love on them. And that's what I've had to learn. I've had to learn perseverance this year, just with everything that's going on in the office. And I'm sure all of you guys that are hiring have gone through the same thing that I'm going through, with just not being able to get people in the office, or not getting good people in the office. I mean, I've set up 20, 30 interviews with girls and they just don't show up. And so, but every day I show up to the office and I show up ready to serve, and whatever it brings, it brings. And just learning how to stay the course, not operating out of fear, but trusting in God and God's plan. I mean, He knows better than I do. I don't know what every day is going to bring, but I just know that at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for what has gone on, and I'm grateful for the patients that He has sent to me and the abundance. And so I just trust Him no matter what. And I've learned that I have to put God first. Forget my wants and needs and things like that. I put God first, and I know that everything else is going to follow from that point. So as every day goes on and we get closer and closer to the end of the year, and there's new beginnings coming, and I look forward to the birth of Jesus, and celebrating Christmas with my family. And again, just the gratitude I have that my mom is still here, and just for all of my friends and family that have kind of stuck by me during this really tough season. And I'm just very, very grateful for DE and the lessons that I've learned. And like I said, I may not have been around for the last couple of years, but I've been there in spirit. I've been there in heart. I'm hoping to be there in January. I'm hoping that one of my nieces is going to stay with my mom, so that I can get over there, because she gets very agitated if I'm not around. So that's my plan, and it's hopefully it's God's plan for me, and I'll be able to hug all of you guys when I get there in January, because I'm missing the hugs and just missing all of you guys. But like I said, I've been there in spirit. I've been on the Tuesday night calls, and I'm just so grateful and blessed to keep going after 36 years, and the office is thriving, and I'm just very, very grateful for that. So I think that's all I have. I kind of got thrown into the fire here tonight, and Andy asked me, and I just said yes. I didn't even hesitate. Normally I would hesitate, hem and haw. Well, I'm not prepared, but I just heard Dr. Sid in the back of my head just saying, just say yes. So I did just say yes. So listen, everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year, all that stuff, and many blessings and to all of you, and prosperity for the new year. That's all I got, Andy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm having a hard time with you. So, hey, man, I had you on 2 different deals, but you were thrown in the fire, and you did awesome. I appreciate it. You dropped the mic. I think all of us, well, not all of us, a lot of people don't know what people are going through, right? And the fact that you went through a lot of stuff, and you know, like we talk every week, but by the same token, sometimes you see people up on stage. You've been on stage at D many times and speaking, and everybody thinks, oh man, they're on stage, everything's all hunky dory and everything, but the life hits us all, doesn't it? Yeah,
It does.
Thank you so much for stepping in tonight. And I appreciate it. I promise you, there's a lot of people who got a lot of love from you, and there's a lot of people who can't wait to get that hug in January. So speaking of January 20th to the 23rd, Sarasota, Florida. If you've never been there, you need to get there. It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And if you have been there, I can't wait to see you all. So I think that's it for the night. Merry Christmas to everyone. Enjoy your holidays, and love and appreciate your time for coming on.
Thank you, man.
Love you.